What's going on, Stanio Clenio? Welcome into Team Stanio Live. I'm running late. Scheduled this for 5 p.m., but I was up shooting another video. I was up in Mason, Ohio, and you know how that traffic is this time of day. So I got back here a little bit late, but here we go. We're going to be talking about what's going on in the real estate market. There's some news. Buyers and sellers both need to know. We talked a little bit about this in terms of the charts last week. We also got some news in terms of some new jobs and some business development happening in the area. There's a new restaurant that is getting some buzz, and it is Thursday night football. Bengals, Steelers. If we win, we might get back into this thing a little bit. We've got old man Joe Flacco going against old man Aaron Rodgers. If we lose, I don't know. Season's probably over. That's kind of what it feels. It feels like a must win tonight, and it's Steelers week. Nobody likes the Steelers. If you're not from around here, Steelers, Bengals, they don't mesh well. So we're going to jump right in. As always, if you want to have any of your questions answered, if you guys are watching, let us know where you're watching from. Love getting to interact with you, talking about local real estate, talking about local news, anything else you guys want to chat about. If you want to talk a little bit about Bengals, we'll talk a little bit about Bengals. I've got some thoughts on that. But we are going to jump right in tonight with this headline right here, which is home sales are getting harder to close because sellers are making a critical mistake. So let's talk about that. Now, look, this is a national. We're going to look at this article, but we're also going to talk about what it means in the local Cincinnati market. But let's dive into this. It's getting harder to close home sales, and real estate agents agree. Why? According to a recent survey of hundreds of agents by real estate tech venture HomeLight, 62% of agents say more deals are falling through compared to a year ago. Homes also are sitting on the market longer. In 2021, during the height of the pandemic era home buying frenzy, the typical home sat on the market for just 14 days. That's increased to between 47 and 62 days, the slowest pace in 10 years. So what's the biggest holdup? Prices. Now, I saw a giant chart on X today that was like, I think it was actually Ron DeSantis tweeted this out, but it was that home prices are, in terms of home affordability, it's the worst it's ever been. And so I get why homes are sitting longer. It's they're more expensive and wages haven't kept up with them. And so they're sitting on longer. This is saying, it's the prices from the sellers as to why they're not going through, but it's probably a little bit of both, right? So let's keep going on through here. Most agents surveyed, 77% said the biggest mistake sellers make is overpricing. A seller in today's market has to be savvy enough to know that buyers feel empowered and ready to negotiate, said Melanie Thomas in Orlando. The days when you could assume multiple offers over the asking price are long over. The only homes that will sell with short days on market are the ones that are priced correctly from the start. Now, Orlando is a different market than Cincinnati, for sure. There's more inventory. Homes are sitting longer on the market. They built a lot more the last few years there than they did in Cincinnati. We're going to get into how quickly homes are selling here in Cincinnati, because it's definitely different than it is nationally. But I would say that the biggest reason homes are sitting and the biggest reason why that the biggest mistake that sellers are making also is overpricing here in the Cincinnati area. So I'd agree with that. I just want to compare that the Cincinnati market is different than the Orlando market, as well as, other places around the country, obviously. Sellers are trying to adjust their expectations, with 82% of real estate agents across the country saying they saw an increase in price cuts during the second quarter of 2025 compared to the same time in 2024. Now, that is happening here as well. There are more price cuts right now than there have been in years, the most I've seen in years. So you got to be careful right now, sellers, on what you're doing. In fact, I had a listing this last week. We were having this conversation about a sale that we're looking to do in a few weeks here. And we're saying, look, I know you want to make more money for the home, but you got to kind of just cash in on the equity that you've earned over the last few years and not push it too hard. Otherwise, you're going to get in that price reduction cycle. And then someone's going to make even a lower offer on your home. So you got to be really careful right now, sellers. We are not where we were at a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, but even just 1 year ago in terms of how many offers and the activity that's coming in. It's just because, look, the affordability for all the buyers is just not there. The market has slowed down. It has certainly softened. So you got to be really smart about where you're pricing it on the front end. The report noted that sellers who used seasoned agents can avoid the mistake of thinking the housing market is the same as it was during the red hot pandemic era market, according to the report. And that's where you got to be careful for sellers. You got to watch out that an agent's going to walk into your home and be like, oh yeah, look, prices have gone up. They've gone up. They've gone up. We can get this out of your house. If you do that, you just got to be careful, right? You've got to be careful because they might just be trying to get that listing, and you could end up getting damaged in the long run. Instead, you probably need someone who's coming in your house and be like, I know you want to get that. Maybe your neighbors got that a year ago, but look, things are softening right now. We got to be smarter. We got to be wiser. We got to be more strategic in terms of where we're at with the pricing strategy. Okay, the change, continuing on here, the change in the market conditions combined with economic uncertainty, job instability, and other economic headwinds means homes no longer are able to command top dollar. Again, this is kind of a national feel. We are still getting, we are still seeing home prices go up here in Cincinnati. They've gone up about 6-7% over last year, but it's still softening in terms of more price reductions, in terms of more time on market. So you just got to be careful. The Home Light Report also provided the top reasons homes fall out of contract. So here's why homes are falling out of contract. Home inspections uncovering major issues, 27%. Buyers financing falling through, 21%. Buyers getting cold feet, 20%. Seller refuses repair request or concession, 12%. Appraisal comes in low. We're not seeing a lot of low appraisals right now. I just had a meeting with my team this week, and we were talking about this. It's like, no, look, a few years ago when people were bidding over ask price, $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 over, yeah, we were seeing a lot more appraisals come in short, and the deals could have gone sour that way. But in those days, you had the interest rate so low, a lot of buyers were willing to do appraisal gap clauses, which meant even if the appraisal comes in short, which means, let's say the home is on the market for $600,000 and a purchase agreement's made for $650,000, and the appraisal comes in at $625,000. Well, there's a $25,000 gap there because the lender is saying, hey, we're only going to lend up to $625,000, not the $650,000 purchase agreement. So there's a gap. Well, a few years ago, buyers would do an appraisal gap clause that says, even if it comes in short, we'll come up with a $25,000 difference because we just want the house. That is not happening right now. Okay. So the biggest reasons why, buyers are backing out right now: inspections, buyer financing falling through, and buyers getting cold feet. And I'm seeing more and more of the cold feet happening where that might've been like 5 or 10% a few years ago. Cause they're like, I've got more options right now. So if I see something else pop up on the market, maybe I get cold feet and try to back out of this deal and go to something else. So buyers getting cold feet or not entering the market at all means more people are okay with renting for longer periods. That's not just because of the price tag of a home. It could be because of how much it costs to finance it. Many that would never rent are renting until the interest rates drop. People are scared to make a move right now. We will definitely see people step back in if the market rates drop. And I want to speak to that really quick. Yes, you're going to see more buyers if the market rates drop. The other thing, though, if you're a buyer and you're waiting for interest rates to drop, you need to be really careful in that, because there are a lot of buyers potentially on the sidelines right now, and they may come flooding back in. When you get all that buyer demand, home prices are going to go up. So does it really save you money to wait for the drop if the home prices are going to go up when the buyer demand comes back in after an interest rate drop? You just got to weigh that. I think timing the market is never a good idea. I think if you want to buy a house, you should buy a house. If it fits your lifestyle, if it fits what's going on in your home, if you can afford it, then buy the house. Don't wait to time it perfectly. It's always just going to be a challenge. No one can predict the future. If the interest rates do drop in the future, well, then you could potentially refinance. I don't think that's a good strategy to bank on refinancing, but I also don't know if waiting for interest rates to drop to lock in that payment when the home prices could go up a lot as the demand floods back in is also a good idea. You could do either one, but it's a bit of a risk, I think, to wait for rates to drop. They might not drop. That's the other thing. They might not drop at all. All right, so heading back into this article here. So there's no doubt that home buyers have been feeling the squeeze. Home prices nationally have grown rapidly since the onset of COVID-19 pandemic. The U.S. median home price was $317 in 2020. By the end of quarter of 2022, that number was $437, up 38%. It dropped to $410, $800 in the first quarter of 2025, but that's still up nearly 30% from the early days of the pandemic. Now we're not feeling that here locally in Cincinnati. Again, That number is dropping or has dropped since the height of 2022 because of other areas around the country, not here in Cincinnati. We've seen consistent growth since the pandemic. We have not seen prices go backwards. So just FYI, if you're looking to buy here in the Cincinnati area, we're still seeing that median price steadily go up year after year. And it could take years before housing prices return to about 30% of income. That's a real challenge right now. It's really, we're not at 30% of income. A common affordability ratio, that means a typical U.S. household purchasing a home would need to spend 30% of their income on their mortgage each month. An analysis from real estate firm Redfin found that home prices could return to a state of normality by 2030 if mortgage rates drop to about 5.5%. So do you want to wait around, 4.5 more years for interest rates to drop? And I mean, again, you've got to do what works best for your family. That's what I never, ever try to push anyone into a home sale where it's not a payment that they can feel comfortable with, or they have a good strategy or a backup plan behind it. But if you're waiting for interest rates to drop, you could be waiting a long, long time, is kind of what I'm saying. So, otherwise you're renting and you're losing out on that equity increase, especially here in Cincinnati. We're still seeing that increase year over year. Mortgage rates already have dropped to their lowest levels in nearly a year, bringing down the median monthly mortgage payment to about $2,600, about $200 below May's all-time high. So that's where we're at. I think the big takeaway here, especially for Cincinnati sellers, is, okay, prices are still going up. The market definitely is softening. We're seeing more price reductions. We're seeing longer days on market. And there's just less overall buyer demand. So when you first put that home on the market, you got to be smarter. You can't push that price too high right now. We're not like other places around the country where prices are coming down, but in terms of year over year, I should say, but we are seeing way more price reductions than we had been seeing. Now, that's a national article, and I'm going to couple that with another one, though, that's a little bit crazy. And so you're going to be like, Eric, what are you talking about? So, the first headline that we looked at, just going back to it here, is, sellers are making a critical mistake and they're pricing too high. The second headline, though, is here's where homes are selling the fastest as the housing market evolves. And I just want to go through here because we're looking at the top zip codes around the country for where homes are selling the fastest. And if you go through this list, I think there's I forget how many zip codes they have here, maybe 100 or 200, but you're going to see a lot of Cincinnati real estate zip codes in this chart. So this is across the country, America's fastest selling houses in terms of Q2 2025. And so let's see here, 45241. Let me see where that is. 45241. I think that is Blue Ash area. So that's Blue Ash, Evendale, Glendale, Sharonville. That's the first one. So that's 32 days average. So that is the fourth fastest average day on market sold in America. That's number one. I'm going to scroll down here, not on page 2, not on page 3, but on page 4. Here's the next one, 45227, 37 days on market, 45227. That is going to be Marymount, Madeira, Silverton, Plainville. We've talked a lot about Marymount on the channel here lately. Homes still selling very, very fast there on average. Again, one of the fastest in all the country is Marymount, Madeira area. That's going to be 37 average days on market. Let's go to the next page here. We're seeing some in Washington, some in California. Oh, here we go again. 45242. Let's check it out. 45242. That is going to be, again, Blue Ash, Montgomery, Indian Hill, Kenwood. Again, we've been doing more and more videos on here. I've got more content coming on these areas: Montgomery, Indian Hill, Marymount, Kenwood, Blue Ash, these top suburbs on the Ohio side in Cincinnati. And these are the zip codes that are selling some of the fastest in the country. They're selling in 39 days on average. Now, again, that's including homes that are sitting for a long time, right? So some of these properties are hitting the market and they are selling right away. Here's another one, 45215, another Cincinnati. And that is going to be Wyoming, Redding, Laughlin, Woodlawn. So Wyoming is another very, very popular spot in the Cincinnati market. 39 average days. So you're seeing some places around the country, but you're seeing these Cincinnati zip codes again over and over and over here pop up in terms of the fastest selling zip codes in the country. 40 days on market. What is this one? This is 45236. I believe that is going to be, again, Blue Ash, Kenwood, Deer Park, Silverton is 45236. So over and over again, you're seeing these Cincinnati zip codes as selling the fastest on the market. So the first warning I kind of gave you to sellers is like, don't overprice it. But I'm going to balance that out and say, and yet Cincinnati has multiple zip codes that are selling some of the fastest in all of the country. This is kind of the way it's been the last 2 years. So that's not to say homes can't sell quickly here. They certainly can. If you're priced right and if your condition is great, you'll still sell fast. You'll see multiple of those properties sell in the first weekend. You may even still see multiple offers. Now, a few years ago, like I mentioned, we saw 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 10 offers on a property. Very rare that we're seeing that right now. You might see 2, 3, maybe 4 offers on a really, really hot property. But it's certainly come down. And so I'm trying to let you guys understand where the balance in the market is right now, which is we're not nearly as hot as we were a few years ago, but we're still multiple zip codes that are the fastest selling zip codes in the country. So it depends on where you're looking. It depends on the zip codes. That's why it's really important when you're shopping these different areas, these different neighborhoods, these different zip codes, you're working with a real estate agent who understands what's happening in the market. So you know what kind of offer you should put in if you're buying, and if you're selling, what you should do in terms of a pricing and a marketing strategy. Because it is different. It's different in various zip codes across the city, across different areas around town. Here's another one, 45212, 40 days on market. Let's check out this one where we are talking about Norwood in Cincinnati here. Sorry, my voice is about to go. I recorded another video earlier. All right, so let's see if there's any more here. Just want you guys to see in these top fastest zip codes, you're seeing Cincinnati over and over and over again. You're seeing Michigan here. I'm seeing California pop up, some Wisconsin. Here's another one, 45240. Here, this will be the last one, but you guys get the trend line here. So this is going to be Forest Park, Springdale, Pleasant Run, New Burlington, Ohio. Again and again and again, we're seeing Cincinnati zip codes be some of the fastest selling zip codes in America. All right, moving on. I want to hit a few news, and then I got to get going. I got to take my kid to a youth group event tonight, as well as my neighbor. So not going to spend too much time. I'm going to kind of hit these headlines pretty quickly here. Again, guys, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. If you don't mind, click a thumbs up for me. Share this with a friend. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you're seeing in the market. You guys feeling that? If you're local here, are you feeling that in the market as well? Are you feeling it soften, or are you feeling homes still go really fast? And that's why I kind of say it's weird here. We're feeling a little bit of both. Like they can go fast and they can sit a while. It's weird. It's weird. All right, this article I want to mention, GE Aerospace, which we've talked about a lot here on the channel. They announced a $30 million flagship workforce development program. So they need workers, okay? GE Aerospace is going to spend $30 million on a workforce development program to satisfy ever-growing demand at the world's largest aircraft engineer maker. The new flagship program aims to increase the number of highly skilled manufacturing workers by 10,000 beginning in 2026, according to a media release. The $30 million will be spent over 5 years, allowing local training entities to purchase new equipment, hire new educators, expand their class offerings, and alleviate financial barriers for students, the release said. So I've talked about GE Aerospace a lot here. They've got a lot of money coming in from government contracts. And what I want to say is if you're around the country, if you're in manufacturing, or even if you're not, the education is here, the money is here, the jobs are coming here. Okay, so like I've mentioned advanced manufacturing a lot on the channel, as well as logistics, as well as healthcare here in the area. This is where Cincinnati is seeing a lot of growth, reaching up from Columbus and Dayton, down through Cincinnati, down to Lexington and Louisville as well. Cincinnati is kind of uniquely positioned right now as a pocket for a lot of this growth to happen. So if you're elsewhere around the country and you're like, I want a high-paying job, I want to be able to land in these suburbs like Westchester, like Mason, like Madeira, Montgomery, Marymount, Blue Ash, on the Northern Kentucky side. You want to be in Union. You want to be in Florence. You want to be in Independence or Alexandria. Guys, the jobs are here. The jobs are on the airport. The jobs on the Cincinnati side. And this is just another, another example of what's going on here. $30 million being spent by GE Aerospace to say, we want 10,000 skilled workers. Okay. So that's no small amount of workers. They want 10,000 workers coming. So I'm just throwing that out there. There are jobs to be had here. There's education. There's training to be had here, and there's money being spent here in the Cincinnati area. So wanted to mention that. All right. Going to make a quick shift here and mention this. This is Yelp's best new restaurants of 2025. And we've got a local restaurant who made the list here. So this is national Yelp's best 25 top-rated new restaurants across America. These are must-try menus and chef-driven innovations. There are areas in Indianapolis, Kansas City, Nashville, Scottsdale, New York, Los Angeles, Vegas, San Francisco, and Cincinnati. So let's scroll down here, and I will show you number 8 on the list is going to be, well, bam, Court Street Kitchen in Cincinnati, Ohio. The eclectic new American cuisine here is as varied as it is acclaimed. Favorites like steak or grilled branzino with tapenade share the menu with must-haves like Italian arancini, Peruvian ceviche with amarillo and tuna, and amazing homemade aragosto, which is a lobster-style pasta. It's a culmination of dishes I've enjoyed in my hospitality career and travels, plus favorites in my parents cooked, explains operating manager Brahim Shtui. Sorry, I'm sure I butchered that, who also owns Caruso's Ristorante and Bar in Fairfield, Ohio. Executive head chef, not Kansu's background in Japanese flavor, profiles creates a winning mix at this lively spot with a DJ on weekends. So here's a look what Court Street looks like, some of the popular dishes. Let me pull up some of the, let me see here, what the vibe looks like here for you guys to see. But yeah, number 8 in all of America on Yelp's new favorite restaurants. So love to see that here. Let's see outside what we're looking like. You got a DJ on the weekends. You got some outdoor courtyard here on Court Street Kitchen. So love to see that here. Let me get some of the dishes here. Ooh, that does look good. Okay. All right. I see you. I see what's going on. Yeah, it looks great. So might need to have a date night down there soon. That's looking pretty great. That's the arancini, grilled oysters, olive oil cake. Here's the aragosta pasta. Oh, look at those shrimp, the blackened shrimp. That looks great. Yum. Yep, that's looking pretty awesome. Oh, scallops. I love scallops. Mushroom ragu, pepe risotto, chili garlic prawns. All right, so a lot of great dishes there. So good to see that in Cincinnati. Okay, last thing I'm going to hit for the night, because I'm excited about this, and that's the Unk Bowl that's going on. We got old man Joe Flacco versus old man Aaron Rodgers. I think they combine for what? I know Flacco's 40. How old is Aaron Rodgers? Is 41. So we got 81 years of quarterback coming at you tonight out of Paul Brown Stadium, out of Paycor Stadium. So here we go. Bengals Steelers week. We need this one, Bengals. Let's get a W tonight. So I got to roll, guys. I know this was a quick one tonight. I'm sorry for being a little bit late, but hope this was helpful for you. And like I said, thumbs up, leave a comment. If you're looking to move to Cincinnati area, as always, we're ready to help you out. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching. Stanio Clanio. Have a good night. Hoo day. Let's go Bengals.